Good afternoon. My name is Mr. Cudmore. I'm second maths at St Joseph's, and I'm here to talk to you today about GCSE Mathematics. What we look at is developing the knowledge, skills, and understanding of mathematical methods and concepts, including number, algebra, shape, measures, statistics, and probability. The new syllabus that was incorporated a few years back emphasises fluency in mathematical techniques, as well as broader and deeper understanding of basic concepts. Now, in terms of what students will sit when they get into Year 11, is 3 papers. The first is a non-calculated paper. It is 90 minutes long and carries 80 marks. The second and third papers are both calculated papers that are also 90 minutes, carrying 80 marks. These 3 papers hold equal weighting, and the grade is therefore calculated at the total of 240 marks. There are 2 tiers available, and students will be allocated sets based on how they've done in Year 7 and Year 8. Generally speaking, sets 1 and 2 will attempt the higher tier, and sets 3 and 4 will attempt the foundation tier. Foundation students can achieve grades 1 to 5, and higher students can achieve grades 3 to 9. In terms of the specification, at foundation level, there is more of a focus on number and ratio, as you can see on the weighting on the right-hand side. Whereas at higher, there is a slightly higher focus on algebra and geometry, which are seen as harder topics and harder concepts to grasp. What students will do in Year 9 is if they're in that set 3 or 4 with our foundation groups, they will start off looking at number and properties, decimals and fractions, ratio, proportion, and compound measures. Then go on to statistical diagrams, algebraic expressions, number sequences, angles, perimeter area and volume, linear graphs, probability, transformations, standard form, linear equations, before finishing off the year looking at problem-solving skills. Conversely, our higher students will do something very, very similar. So the way we've built our scheme of work is that whilst our foundation students are doing number and their properties, decimals and fractions, our higher students are doing fractions, percentages, ratio and proportion, statistical diagrams. So if there is any movement required between sets 3 and set 2, students won't be kind of like thrown into the deep end of not having any clue what's going on. There is quite a lot of crossover between our higher scheme of work and our foundation scheme of work to support the students as much as possible. So our higher students will tackle fractions, ratio and proportion, statistical diagrams, algebraic manipulation, sequences and angles, then more angles and perimeter area and volume, similarity, linear graphs, probability, transformations, right angle triangles, standard form, linear equations, and then a review before the end of the year. When students go into Year 10, again, I've got a foundation scheme of work looking at linear simultaneous equations and linear inequalities, percentages, direct and indirect proportion, statistical diagrams, right angle triangles and probability, nonlinear graphs, advanced shapes, congruence and similarity, and that marks the end of the course content. Equally, for our higher students, it's linear inequalities, advanced algebra and quadratics, advanced statistical diagrams, powers, surds and bounds, advanced probability, circle theorems, proportion, advanced trigonometry, advanced graphs, vectors, and proofs. And then again, the plan is that by the end of Year 10, all students in both foundation and higher groups will have covered the full breadth of the GCSE content. This is so when they get to Year 11, it's reserved for catch-up and revision of key areas with a heavy focus on the application to the 3 assessment objectives. Now, the assessment objectives are, first of all, using and applying standard techniques. This is worth about 50% of the marks on the foundation paper as opposed to 40 on a higher paper. Our assessment objective 2 is reason, interpret, and communicate mathematically, which, as you can see, holds a slightly higher weighting on the higher paper. And then our assessment objective 3, which is something that they've kind of really brought in with the new GCSE specification, is solving problems within mathematics and in other contexts. So contextual-based problems and the application of knowledge is really, really important, especially for those students doing higher. In terms of pathways, GCSE Maths prepares students to make informed decisions about the use of technology and the management of money. It's an entry requirement for many A-level subjects, such as science, psychology, or economics, and a higher grade in GCSE Maths is required for a wide variety of college courses and apprenticeships. The skills you gain through mathematics are marketable in most job sectors. Now, the logical and problem-solving skills are very, very desirable in every aspect of work life, so career opportunities with a base in maths are rich and varied. And these include anything from actuarial analysis, chartered accountants, data analysts, systems developers, and statisticians. Now, if you have any further questions around what GCSE Mathematics contains, please do not hesitate to contact either myself or Mr. O'Day. Our details are up on the website. Thank you very much for your time.